Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. A-Mark Precious Metals reports record profits. Let's explore. Yes, indeed, this is big news coming to us across the news services here from El Segundo, California. A-Mark Precious Metals, which we all know is a leading full-service provider of products and services to the global precious metals market, has reported the results from its fiscal third quarter, which ended on March the 31st, 2021. They had reported over $2 billion in revenue and record earnings in its fiscal third quarter, which is boosted by strong market conditions and the completion of the most significant acquisition in its history. You remember I covered the breaking news of that acquisition of JM Bullion, which, as we know, JM Bullion also had acquired in the previous year or so Provident Metals, which is a leading internet retailer of precious metals, and that was completed fully on March the 19th of 2021. Significantly, JM Bullion has contributed $88.5 million of gross profit and $6.8 million of pre-tax income to the company's direct-to-consumer segment in the last couple of days of March following the acquisition. They had the strongest quarter of financial performance in A-Mark's history, with a net income of $50.3 million, excluding a one-time $26.3 million remeasurement gain resulting from the acquisition of JM Bullion. So it is interesting to see how this has played out. The highlights from the third quarter are very impressive. As we can see here, revenues for the 3 months ended in March the 31st of this year increased 63%. And again, a more exact figure now is $2.05 billion, which is from $1.6 billion for the first 3 months of last year. So very interesting indeed to see that increase 35% over this particular time, from $1.52 billion for the first 3 months ended in December 31st of 2020. Now, the gross profit for the 3 months ended on March 31st has increased 203%. Wow. Which is up to $68.2 million in profits. That's 3.33% of the revenue, by the way, which is an increase from $22.5 million, which is 1.75% of the revenue for the 3 months ended on March 31st of 2020. That's increased 264% from $18.8 million, which is 1.24% of the revenue for the 3 months ended on December 31st, 2020. So there's a lot of numbers to digest there, but I will just kind of recap and say that the profit has just continued to increase every quarter, and now it's up even more for the profit margin there, and it's pretty amazing. Now, how is profit measured? Is that money before they pay their employees? I'm sure they've hired a lot more. Is that the company revenue that's after all expenses are paid, including employees, benefits, and the like? My guess is it probably should be if it's not counted that way, but nonetheless, it just goes to show you they are increasing and they are getting more rich. And why is that happening? Well, it's because you and I are buying from them, and not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way. I mean, they're providing a service, but obviously they have accumulated these other, JM Bullion, by extension Provident Metals, and are much larger than they were before. And I think that is attributed to, and especially with the silver squeeze and the like, we're seeing this occur. And there's other statement here about income that is coming in as well. But I think we pretty much get the point with the profits. But let's look at this in terms of the number of ounces of gold and silver that are at play here. In the first 3 months ending on March 31st of this year, the gold ounces that have been sold have increased 52% to 771,000 ounces from 508,000 ounces for the first 3 months ending on March 31st of 2020. An increase 61% from 479,000 ounces for the first 3 months ended on December 31st, 2020. So that is quite an amazing increase there in the amount of ounces of gold that have been sold. Now, silver ounces sold in the 3 months ended on March 31st of 2021 increased 29%. I thought it would have been more than that, to 33.1 million ounces from 25.7 million ounces for the 3 months ended on March 31st of last year, and increased 56% from 21.2 million ounces for the first 3 months ended December 31st, 2020. So a measurable increase in silver ounces sold as well. So as of March 31st, 2021, the number of secured loans increased 266% to 1,571 from 429 as of March 31st, 2020, and increased 19%. So there is a lot there, an increase in that sale. And from this press release, there is other information about financial results and kind of obviously it talks again about the increase in the gross profit and all the expenses that are involved in it as well. But you think about it, they're doing very, very well for sure. No question about that. And I think it's going to continue as the squeeze continues in both gold and silver, by the way. People are buying it. People are nervous about the economy, and rightfully so. And so it is something to see here as we move forward. And I think it's good to kind of see what these companies are doing and what they're charging. But apparently they are doing so well. It would be nice, although they don't have to, but it would be nice if they could lower their premiums since they're making so much profit to kind of help us stackers out. But it's one of the things, cost of doing business. They have every right to charge what they do for their products and services. But again, I don't know how those profits are measured. If it's before or after they pay their employees. Obviously, some of the other expenses, I would assume it would be after some of those other expenses are paid. But again, it's an interesting dynamic here, and they have a lot of different hands in different areas of the process of manufacturing, and it goes back to even in a connection to Silvertown, there's a lot of connections here. So I think that's why they can probably make the profits that they do, because they have their hands in pretty much a lot of different steps in the manufacturing process here. A-Mark Precious Metals. So there you have it. They've been around for quite a long time, for sure. This is a bar that's a little bit rarer, harder to find. That is dated 1980 here. And it just goes to show you how far they have been involved in precious metals here. And here is another one with their logo, the logo that most of us recognize for A-Mark Precious Metals. And this bar is much more common. It is dated 1981. But indeed, so there you have it. It's an interesting report, I think. Fascinating to see that they are, and that's part of the nature of it. People buy, and the companies make money. And their sales are on fire now for silver and gold, and they are making money hands over fist. And, I like to see companies succeed, corporations succeed. I like to especially see smaller businesses succeed. But, as businesses get larger and they acquire more smaller businesses, it becomes easier for them to compete because they're a big dog on the block. But I do like to see the smaller businesses compete. But nonetheless, it is fascinating indeed to see the movement here and what is the result of it. So as we accumulate silver, think about things like this and how that all plays out. Thought I'd bring out this silver sphere. Many of you comment about this in a previous video. A member of the community poured this for me. I haven't seen it or cast this for me quite some time ago. Would love to have one that's a lot bigger than this. That's pretty cool. And this is one that I had poured myself quite a while ago. And part of the kind of a legacy stack there. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. A-Mark, do you have any of these A-Mark bars? Let me know what you thought. I love these little chunky bars. They stack so nicely there. Very, very cool. And I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.